Okay, what I'd like to do now is create a control rig for my for my for my model. The first thing I'm going to do is we'll make it a little bit easier to see things. I'm going to select everything that's in my geometry here. I'm going to create a display layer. This is under the channel box layer editor here. Let's generate a display layer here. Let's call this geometry or geo. And this just allows us to easily turn on and off the visibility of the geometry or to template or restrict our ability to select the geometry. So just another way to kind of organize elements in our scene. Let's go ahead and select the top, the root joint here, select all in the hierarchy. By doing that, I automatically select every part of the hierarchy. Let's add those all to our own display layer here. Let's rename this joints. We can turn on and off the visibility here as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and start to create a control rig. I'm going to create a control rig here out of our curves. I'm just going to go ahead and put a NURB square and make this bigger. And I'm going to have this be my main controller for the entire bird. And I'm using a square just so that it's a very clear indication that this is the control rig for the entire bird. So everything else I'm going to use curves or I'll use circles in order to indicate that those are the controllers. Now this is a really handy thing. What I want to do is I want to snap this. I want to snap this controller right so that the pivot for that controller is right on top of this joint. So to do that, I'm going to, I can just select this here and then, this NURB square, it's actually, this is, because these are curves, these are all each individual curve, these are all individual straight lines that connect into this group. That's okay, I'm not worried about it. I'll just connect, I'll use this top NURB square node. I'm going to rename this root control. And I'm going to command select the root joint here. And the first thing I'll do is modify match transformations. Let's match translation. And that will pop this root control right on top of that joint. Now what I'm going to want to do is make a constraint between those two. Let me go to my, my rigging menu set here. And under constraint, because what I want to be able to do is use this control. I want to be able to select this root control. And I want to be able to then move the entire model by moving the root control. Now I can do that by making what I want to do is I want to maintain independence of all of our controllers from the joint hierarchy. So I don't actually want them to be child or parent objects in the joint hierarchy. I want the joint hierarchy to be its own separate component here in our outliner. I want our own separate object. And I want the controllers to be their own separate objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select first the root control and then select this joint, the root joint, and I'm going to go up to constrain and I'm going to create a parent constraint between those so that it operates as if it's a parent-child relationship, but it just constrains those things without having to actually make it have them be parent-child relationships in the outliner or have. So what I'm going to first do is go to constraint here, parent. Let me open up the options here. I want to constrain all. I think these default options are fine. I'm going to go ahead and say add. Now, if I open my root joint here, you see now I have this new object in my outliner. It's called root joint parent. So now if I select that root control and forget the eyes for a moment because we haven't done anything with them, we're going to constrain those as well. Now I can kind of move that entire skeleton with the whole mesh that's attached to it because it's been skinned with that root joint. So let me go here and say 0 and 0 that out.